we continue our Week 8 previews in the NFL. Back with Jeff Parles. I'm Ben Wilson. They're, by the way, into the bottom of the 8th in Atlanta. Still Braves 3, Astros 2. Pretty one of those catches, Jeff, ending the 8th inning by Eddie Rosario that makes you think, man, maybe this Braves team is just kind of destined this year. I know that's a dangerous word when we're talking sports betting, but they have gotten every break now over the past couple games, are 3 outs away from taking a 3-1 series lead, and that was quite the stab on a line shot down the left field line off the bat of Jose Altuve. Not all that different from the home run we saw by Jorge Soler to give Atlanta the go-ahead run in the previous half inning.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty lucky play by Rosario. It was very rare, as you said, outfielder's stab that works. You don't really see that work very often. But look, again, what a postseason for him, and the Braves just, a magical run here in this postseason. Really, a magical run the last 2 months of the season, and again, the key of taking advantage of your opportunities in baseball when they come about for a franchise that has been known for not doing so over the years. Sure, taking advantage of it this year.
Also, it is over in Columbus. Penn State does drive down into field goal range, tries to get the 3 first, down by 9 at Ohio State, but shanks the kick. And look, most books ended 60.5 or 61, so that kick would not have even given you a push. Ends 33-24. Ohio State does win, but does not cover, laying 19 or 19.5. Total does stay under that 60.5 or 61. All right, let's turn to our Circa Millions consensus plays for week number 8 in the NFL. I think we have a debutante this week, Jeff, and that is a double-digit road favorite crashing its way into the Circa Millions consensus. We'll see if either Jeff or I, do we fade or follow these picks? We'll flash up the graphic in a moment. Number 1, and this is not really a surprise, all going off of the injury news that we saw come out late on a Thursday into Friday that completely flipped this line, and that was the Dak Prescott report with the calf injury off of a bye for Dallas, seeming to indicate he will be a firm game-time decision for Sunday Night Football in Minnesota. You see how 1,661 people, top selection in the Circa Millions contest, which deadline entries that closed today at 3 o'clock Pacific time. So the bettors, they had all that intel going in, the relatively stale line at 1.5. But Jeff, now in the market, a lot of 3s, basically market wide. It's 3, some juice to the underdog right now, some 3s even money I see throughout the market. But right now, Dallas getting the full field goal with big questions up in the air around Dak Prescott. We certainly understand why, just the logistics of why a bettor would want to take that in the contest at plus 1.5. You're getting 4.5 points better than that what the number is right now. Do you think in the end, though, the bettors will get rewarded for jumping on that solely based off the number move?
Well, we put it in, Wes Reynolds.
You did?
Put it in.
Weekend Warriors, let's go.
Look, here's the thing. It's going to be line value even if Dak plays. Because I don't see Dallas moving back to a favorite. I think it's going to close pick if Dak comes back and plays. Look, the reports are not really great on Prescott playing here, Ben. And if you're Dallas, why would you play him this week? The only real thing I can think of is that it is of the utmost importance this year to get the 1 seed and avoid the 4 seed in the NFC. Because if you get the 1, obviously you get the lone bye. If you get the 4, you get stuck playing whoever doesn't win the West with the Rams and the Cardinals. And I don't think you want any part of that. Doesn't matter. There's no difference between the 3 and the 2 this year other than the fact that if they both advance, the 2 would obviously host the 3. Because whoever the 6 and the 7 are in the NFC, they're going to be very beatable teams for those other division winners. So, look, in the end here, if Dak doesn't play, this feels like, I don't want to call it a free bingo square, but it's pretty close because Cooper Rush is not going on the road and winning a game in primetime. It's not happening.
It's always dangerous to say free bingo square, but as you point out, look, Dak Prescott, the offense under him for Dallas this year, and if you also want to look at in from 2019, the start of that season up until week 5 when he got hurt last year, in each of those stretches of time, 6.5 yards per play with Dak Prescott as a quarterback, leading the NFL over those periods of time. With any quarterback not named Dak Prescott, Jeff, on the field for Dallas, 4.7 yards per play. That is 32nd, dead last. You look from week 5 of last year till the end of the season. The drop-off could not be more dynamic for losing a guy like that. And like Minnesota, for some of the struggles they have had, a team that's it's 500 this year, they still are, though, 6th in defensive DVOA and 3rd against the pass. So it's not like you would expect that. Cooper Rush, the backup, he did take all the first-team reps in practice this week. However, as you point out, Jeff, on the road in that building on a Sunday night game, probably unrealistic to expect him to go in there and win the game. But this is kind of just, I don't know, at the same time, well, I totally get where you guys are coming from putting it in the contest. To me, this is the ultimate gamble on positional availability out of a position that has a complete swing of the pendulum based on the one guy who is in or if he is out in Dak Prescott here. So I don't want to touch any part of this game.
Look, and also to Dallas, Dallas is very very obvious now that they were lucky to have the bye because Prescott clearly wouldn't have played last week, and who knows if they're lucky that they got the touchdown. Dak may not have been able to play the rest of that game with the calf injury. So, look, in the end here, Ben, if Dak plays, no result would surprise me if Dak plays. Minnesota winning the game by 2 scores, Dallas winning by 2 scores, it coming down to a coaching calamity between McCarthy and the dinosaur Mike Zimmer at this point. So, the only thing that would surprise me is if Dak is ruled out, that Dallas wins the game with Cooper Rush. That would genuinely surprise me.
The one thing I'll say in support of the Minnesota play, regardless, this is a Vikings team, 13 of its 15 touchdowns this year have come through the pass, by far the highest rate in the NFL. You really mean to tell me, Jeff, that a team with Dalvin Cook as your main running back, who will come back presumably at full health this week after a bye himself for Minnesota, a rushing attack led by a guy like Dalvin Cook is 28th in offensive rush DVOA this year? Well, I mean, really, for the bounce, do we really expect that going forward with how banged up he had been in the past and should be pretty healthy coming back?
Look, he's been banged up. This is a pass-heavy offense now. Doesn't really surprise me that much. That they're that low, maybe, but I'm not surprised.
Last thing for you on this.
Go ahead.
So if Prescott is ruled in, Dallas, you'll probably see a little bit of the buyback come, but you say probably not all the way back to a pick. Can you tease this because of the timing here logistically? I think this was a great teaser. Like if you can bring Dallas through the 3 and the 7. However, what are you supposed to pair it with? Basically, either the total in this game or the Monday night game would be your options. And we have long been staunch advocates for avoiding teasing totals in basically all scenarios.
Well, you definitely don't want to tease the total. Do you? Look, I mean, your options on Monday night are put the Giants to 16, which, even though
we'll get to that game in a bit.
I will get to that later. Or putting Kansas City down to 4. You're kind of in no man's land there, unfortunately. With a 2.5 out there right now at most spots, you just got to take a chance and hope that even if it's Cooper Rush, they can lose the game by a touchdown. And just pair it with something else throughout the day.
Part of that, I think the larger point here, difficult teaser week in general, as we're going to get into, because a number of the favorites have really been jacked up, including the next team we're going to talk about right now. Your number 2 pick, we mentioned a debutante, Jeff, into the Circa Millions consensus lines this week. For the first time this year, a road team laying double digits is a consensus pick, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now in the market, I'm seeing as high, Jeff, as 11.5 at our other studio, South Point, 11 behind us at Circa, 10.5 in the contest. Mike White's the backup quarterback getting the start for the New York Jets against a Cincinnati defense that has been so good this season, where they are 5th in defensive DVOA, allowing points on just 30% of opposing drives. That's 3rd in the NFL. So there's a reason why, Jeff, so many people are putting this in the contest. Would you be following this play right here? Even now, we're out of teaser range, basically. We're into big-time moneyline parlay. You're laying a lot of juice now. Would you still be playing the Bengals here? I know it's your team.
I don't want the other side. That's the problem here. I don't want the other side.
You don't want your team. You can say
no. I don't want that. I don't look. How are the Jets going to score in this game? That's the big problem here, Ben. I don't see how the Jets. Let's go through this. Okay, at 11 or 11.5, Ben. How can the Jets cover the game? The Jets probably, in order to feel comfortable with a cover here, probably have to get to 17. Are the Jets capable of getting to 17 points? With Mike White a quarterback against this defense with a great pass rush, where the Jet pass blocking has been abysmal, to put it nicely, this year? I don't see it. I'm not going to bet Cincinnati, but I sure as heck don't want the Jets side of this.
The New York, and if you're thinking, well, this is a high line, Jets at home.
8.5 points different from the look ahead 2 weeks ago.
The New York Jets this year, Jeff, have trailed by double-digit points for 68.1% of their offensive team.
Guys, that little.
You know who's second?
Go ahead.
Detroit Lions. Only 40%. Quite a difference. I think the moral of the story here, probably follow that, I would say. Throw it in some sort of parlay. That would be me. More Circa Millions Contest lines will fade or follow those final 3 picks next here on VSiN BetCenter.